So today I'll be telling you about the attempt coup which was recently taken place in Russia, and unfortunately or fortunately it failed. And I'll be explaining to you how the coup started and how it ended and who took this particular chance, and also who got the idea to do this particular coup. So this coup was taken around on Saturday. On Saturday, there was a particular type of mercenary group which were advancing on Russia forefront, and also advanced into the country of Russia. And after advancing in the country of Russia, even the generals of Russia couldn't also command other troops of the country of Russia to stop these particular troops from advancing into Russia. So it was just like they had no opposition when they were just going and also going forward and forward. Even there was almost a point where they were almost reaching to the capital city of Russia, Moscow. So no one was there to stop them because all of the troops of Russia had gone to fight into the war of Ukraine. So this case also blew a lot of insecurity in Russia, and also exposed Russia for having a lot of insecurity, because right now no one is guarding the country. And if something like this can happen without even the group being detected, it is entering the country, because the group was detected when it had already occupied also some cities of Russia. So it has also raised an eyebrow to many parts of the countries and also the Western countries, because it is very shocking for a particular group of, there were around 20,000 people who were marching forward to the taking over to that particular city of Moscow. And if they hadn't retreated, I don't think that no one would have stopped them, because they were even shooting down planes and also helicopters. There are some pilots who died, and this later on Putin showed some benevolence to them and told them that he was sorry to the families which they lost their loved ones. So it was a very shocking thing which happened, and also the whole world was shocked, because you are trying to invade another country when your country it is at its weakest point, and also there are not so many resources. All the resources have been pushed forward into the war which is happening in Ukraine. So also the person who took this operation and also was the head of this particular rebellion was a person called Prigozhin, which is he's the head of the Wagner Group. And the Wagner Group is a mercenary group which is a private wing which they are used to hire, and also they're used to fight wars and also aid in wars. Some places which they have aided in wars is Syria, Sudan, Venezuela. There's so many countries, like 8 countries, which they aid wars in around the world, mostly also in Africa. So this particular group, mercenary group called Wagner, gets also funds by when they come into a country like Africa, like South Sudan or Mali. They are able to be paid through diamonds and also gold, and this is one of their things which they export into Russia, and it is one of their wealth and also currencies. So, and this happening also in Russia, and also Russia trying to when Russia collapses, it will be a huge blow for them, because they were leading the most smuggled and also most transported gold and also diamond which were being transported. So it will be a very shocking for them when the fight is lost between Russia and also the other countries, because Wagner Group will be no more there, and there will be no aid for them that will help them to transport these particular diamonds to from these poor countries like Mali, and also African countries, like just African countries, because they were the countries which were being used to check them to Russia, and this was a very main source of wealth for them. So this is one of the things which Wagner Group takes as payment for it, to ensure that you will have a security, because there are so many presidents of many countries which I've mentioned, like Sudan, Venezuela, Syria. These countries also pay this Wagner Group for their own security so that they can protect them. And the leader of Wagner Group, which is Prigozhin, which is before he was the leader, he was the chef of Putin. He used to cook for Putin. I don't know, it was donuts or hamburgers. he was a chef before, but by the closeness of him being a friend to Putin, he rose and also rose into power, and he was able to become this person which we know today. But before that, he was just a particular simple chef. But when you see him right now on online, you can think he's a very super military person which came from a hard military background, but it wasn't just like that. He just was a normal person who was a chef and he used to cook for Putin. But right now he has grown into this person which he has 20,000 troops which he can command into that city of Russia and also be able to overthrow Russia. And if it wasn't for the president of Belarus, which had some talks with these both parties between the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, and also the president of Russia, they were able to come into a conclusion which he later on withdrew this advanced action which he was taking place. And also the shocking thing that when he was advancing into these countries, the spectators and also the people who were cheering him, they saw him as like a hero to them, because if it was for another country, the spectators and also the people inside that nation which are loyal, they will heckle and also people would throw stones at them, but people were cheering at them and they were looking at them as heroes. When this particular person of Wagner Group was retreating, the people were greeting him, giving him thanks, and also it was also documented on the news. So it was a shocking thing like this, trying to cross a man which is feared like Putin. It is very tricky because Putin, as we know him, he has killed many people who tried to cross him, and so many, he has poisoned many people, he has killed openly without even no one hesitating to lie about it. It is all known that if you cross Putin, this will happen to you. So Putin image as that particular person which many people fear right now has been tarnished and also has been crushed a little bit, because if something like this can happen in your country and you let this person to go away free without even questioning him or even capturing him, it is a very huge question mark which Putin has put out over there. And it has shown also the weak points of Russia, because any other troop or the Russia is at the mercy of the Wagner Group, because if the Wagner Group again want to advance, there will be nobody to stop them. This attack was stopped by the mercy of the Wagner Group, because they didn't want to advance even more. And one thing that caused this particular advancement into Russia is that the Wagner Group say that the Russian people and also the Russian army generals killed some of the soldiers of the Wagner Group. So they were looking like for revenge. And also when they killed also pilots of Russia when they were trying to do this attack on Saturday, they killed pilots and also people who were heading helicopters. Just imagine this was happening in broad daylight in your own country. So Putin image and also the status of Russia has been tainted by this person heading Wagner Group, and this person has been so into the internet so much because all the time he's talking, and also he has exposed so many secrets and also so many weak points of the Russian army and also the generals of the Russian army. And he has said that these generals are people who are giving out children of poor people and also children which are not able, under 18 children, to go and fight this war. And fighting this war, they die and also they are not able to fulfill their mission and purpose. So this Wagner Group member has been also criticizing the Russian army and also the Russian generals. They have been having some hiccups between them because the Russian generals tried to kill the troops of the Wagner Group. So this has brought a lot of backlash into them. And one thing also, this head of Wagner Group is saying that the main purpose which these Russian generals are doing this particular war in Ukraine is that they could have a nice pillow when they die. So it's just a glorification for them when they die, so that people can view them as a hero. For them just to sleep on a nice pillow, just to look good on that coffin of theirs. That is just their main agenda. It is not for the agenda of either for Russia. It is just for some particular people to look that they are strong, that bringing back the country of Ukraine to what Russia was. This is their main agenda. So the leader of Wagner Group, has exposed so many challenges which the Russian army are facing, and also the challenges which the Wagner Group are facing. One of them is the lack of weapons. There are not so many enough weapons in this particular war, which has led to mass loss of numbers of the Wagner Group, because Wagner Group are promised weapons by the Russian army, which later on the Russian army fails to produce this weapon, because this thing goes back because when Russia is a country where it has a lot of corruption, and there are people of Russia which are elites called oligarchs. And oligarchs are the people who use the particular resources of the Russian army and also the Russian countries to benefit themselves. So there is a lot of corruption. So instead of buying some particular equipments for the army, these people called oligarchs take so much wealth of the country for themselves. And in the beginning of this particular war, there have been so many numbers of ships and also yachts being seized by different parts of the countries because of this war which had taken place in Ukraine, and it has led to a lot of loss of wealth, by which was the wealth of the oligarchs. And also this is a huge blow for the elites in Russia, because they are getting even more poor, and also Russia is getting even more poor because the resources of a particular country were only dependent on one person. But if it was evenly distributed, it would have been better, and people would have also, they will have survived in this war. But the wrong decisions started from day one. That's why even Russia is being, the war is not on their side, because this other side, they are very comfortable. Although they are a small country like Ukraine, they are getting numbers of weapons. There's the least number of corruption which is taken in this country of Ukraine. So the Ukraine, although they are small numbers, they are able to turn away also, and also prevent the Russian army also into advancing even more. And one thing about Wagner Group, one thing about this Wagner Group is that the Wagner Group it was the first one. It was the first army, and also it was the first particular troops which made a very important advancement into Ukraine, leave alone the Russian army. It was the Wagner Group which made the most important claim and also occupied the most important city of Ukraine. So the Wagner Group is just a basic of the best and also the most useful in this particular type of war which is happening in Ukraine. So Putin, for him to leave this particular group, it will be a huge blow for him, because he needs this group so much as he needs the army generals and also his generals. His generals look like they are not competent, and also they are not up to this task, which has been criticized by the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, saying that these generals, they don't know what is happening in the battlefield. They don't know kids are dying. He said that the generals should send their own kids, so that when they weep, they should know the pain which takes of losing a person and also losing a loved one, like the parents which are in Russia. So what Wagner did, and in advancing into Russia and trying to do a coup and also trying to advance, also was a type of liberation and also a sign that it can be done. And also this is an eyebrow that if Putin was a person who is very keen, he should also put more measures and also impose more strict rules into this particular type of army, because their advancement was even more further, because all the resources and all the mind has gone to also the focus has gone into the war in Ukraine, that its own country of Russia has been left defenseless. Anybody can come and try to invade that country without any struggle. So this is something which Putin has to worry about. Although Putin recently he went into the media and tried to put a strong face, imposing that he's a strong leader, but all in all, we know that this war will have ended less than a year, taking more than even 3 months. This is a war which is eventually it will be a war which I can't say very well because I'm also 50-50 till we see the results. It is a war which eventually Putin might lose, and the chances of him losing are very higher than the chances of him even winning. And also these sanctions which are happening on Russia, even if he stops the war, the sanctions will still be there. So Putin has no other option than to advance and try his luck, although the probability is just minimal, and all the roads to where his future leads is just death. And also there's nowhere the road of this war is going for him to be victory. So all the signs are just showing that Putin has just lost it and also lost himself, because one of the things is the media and also the people which are in Russia are lying to Putin that Putin is winning this war, because Putin, one thing, he doesn't watch other news of the world. He just watches the news which is in Russia. And this makes him more deluded because he doesn't know what is happening in other parts of the world. And if he was balanced in watching other news of the part of the world, because in your own country, they can't tell you the truth because you're harsh. And if you are harsh, people will try to tell you lies so that they can save themselves. Because if you go and tell Putin something, he will murder you. You don't know if he will murder you because of saying the truth. And this is something which Putin has realized too late, that people have been lying to him about this particular war. He has been thinking he's the winner and also the top of the war, but statistics and also data show that Putin and his country Russia is weighing down, and the country of Russia is being toppled down, because this war will take for them at least more than many decades for them to recover this war. And it is a very low probability for them even to recover, because there are so many sanctions on them. Even after the war finishes, the sanctions will also be there. So this is the story of Putin, and also and also what had transpired on Saturday of the rebellion which happened in Russia, which rose an eyebrows to the whole part of the world. And I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and watch out for the next video. Till we meet next time, I say thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe. Till we meet.